Linda grew up in Wisconsin and spent most of her adult life in Chicago, with a 6-year detour into Boise, Idaho. After a career in IT and project management, she and her husband happily retired to Tennessee. I can vouch for that. I did the same. At her grade school, the most exciting days were the Milwaukee Bookmobile came through. She remembers learning to read, but not enjoying reading until she discovered her first Nancy Drew book. When exploring a move to Fairfield Glade in 2018, her husband checked out the golf courses and she checked out the medical center and the library. Like so many others, she walked in the door and was awestruck by this Art Circle library and its beauty. It sealed the deal. Crossville was where they were going to move, and she was honored to be part of the Friends of the Library. Miss Linda?
Thank you. You know what? We had a good year last year, culminating in the Friends of the Tennessee Library Friend of the Year. We were just so honored with that. I'm going to have to somehow see what I can read here. So this is my little library in Crossville. It's called Art Circle because a group of ladies in the late 1800s, you know what ladies did in those days? Well, they got together and they'd crochet and they'd do watercolors and they learned to play the piano, and they called themselves the Art Circle. And one day they decided little old Crossville needed a library. And they got together and they established a library. And to this day, there are art exhibits all the time. There are judged events where the public votes on their favorite, either local artist or lots of times high school kids put together. So that's why we're the Art Circle. All right. So making the most of Milestones. We went through a big fundraiser 20 years ago when the library built a new building. But you know what? We celebrated our 40th anniversary. So this is the award ceremony from last year. The Friends were founded in 1984, and we were incorporated in 2004 in order to raise funds for the new library, which is now 15 years old. And somewhere along the line, I wish it had been earlier, but probably in 2023 we went, oh, we've got a 40th anniversary now. We could have thought 50 years is more impactful than 40, but we decided to go, look, we got 40 coming up, what can we do? Because honestly, 20 years since the library was, we were founded, incorporated. COVID happened to us like everybody else, and maybe we were a little stale. We had 2 book sales a year. We have a wonderful bookstore that raises a lot of money. We hadn't done anything else, and we said, we should do something. Did we know what? No. We did know we wanted to honor some of the people that have been around a long time. We still have some members from 40 years ago. We certainly have members that are on the original charter from our corporation. We wanted to create awareness for the Bookmobile Watch. It's a big deal in our county, and yes, they're going to go to schools, but they're going to start out going to senior centers, assisted living places. They have a list of like 20 in our county that they're going to check out books just like you in the library, because a lot of those people can't get to the library anymore. So we're going to bring the library to them. And eventually, when school is out of session, we'll be going to schools. Support our tried and true. So yeah, we've got book sales, and yeah, we've got our bookstore. And they kind of make it the same amount every year, sort of no matter what we did. So maybe with a little buzz in the air, they'd make a little more. Further involve our members. We've all heard the 80-20 rule. I clicked too soon. But maybe we can get more of the people than 20% to participate if we just did something new. Ideas abound. We had a lot of feedback over the couple of years. People wanted to do what they did do 20 years ago. Well, we used to do blah, 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 and it worked really well. We used to, and can we do that again? Well, yeah, we could, but that doesn't count as doing something new. And doing something new doesn't mean we knew how to do it, but we decided on 2 main events. We didn't know how to do them. We just put a stake in the ground and said, okay, we're going to do a silent auction. We're going to do that to make money. Not going to make a ton of money because it's our first tipping our toe in the water, but we'll make some money. So we're going to do a wine tasting. I didn't know at the time it would be called a seminar. That evolved. And we're going to do that just as a 40th year celebration. We made maybe $200 on the whole deal. Not lots. But these are the things around the whole year, and everything else supported these two events. So August, because we just started this so late, like maybe December of the previous year, we decided to put both events together in August. Gave us at least 8 months of sort of ramping up time to figure out how to do things. But that's okay. Once we had that stake in the ground, everybody sort of had that in their mind that August was going to be a big month. We asked members at a meeting to write something on a piece of paper that would describe like our logo, our mission. You know, we've all heard people, serving Knox County for 50 years. What was that logo? What was that phrase for us? So our members wrote that, and the board took bits and pieces of several people's ideas and put them together. We did just put a special logo together and called ourselves Friends for 40 years. So this is what our letterhead looked like. Not exactly because it didn't fit on the slide perfectly, but the little phrase was 40 wonderful years connecting with Cumberland County. That's how our members felt about the Friends. And then on the other side, big 40, I think I have it larger, says Friends for 40 years. There's a little picture of our library, a little picture of books. And what's interesting, I'll mention it later, you never know who has the ability to do something until the need is there. And sure enough, one of our members said, well, I have a brother that does arty things. Let me have him put together a couple ideas for you. So that's how we got that. Okay. So what did we do? Well, of course, we've been talking about this all morning, the mentoring that comes from this organization. We called Kathy. And Kathy put us in touch with, I don't even remember, because I was doing the pushing now and not the leading, so other people were taking charge. But I do remember being on a couple of conference calls, and it was wonderful. All of a sudden, we started having a vision of what we could do and what we couldn't do. And not only did they provide the idea for an online auction, because that was really our problem. It was like, how do I put together a silent auction? People do it all the time, been there, done that. We've all been to dozens of them, but an online auction, I'd never heard of. Most people had never heard of. Oh, it's so doable though. We found out how. And not only did they provide advice and an idea, but tangible assets are good. And so they provided sample forms and marketing pieces from another library, or maybe two, that had done this. And simply we took it, changed the names, changed the dates, and made it our own. Well, we would have stumbled eventually across all the things on those forms, donor forms, receipts, cover letters, things like that. But it would have taken a long time, and we wouldn't have done it perfectly. And this really got us off the ground with, I would say, the confidence to know that we were going to be okay with it. The most important thing was software. I mean, you need something to run an online auction. And they gave us 3 names, I think, of applications. Like everything else, there's an app for that. Applications that have been used by others. We narrowed it down to one. If you want the name, it's called givebutter.com. And as a play on the words, give better, because when they apparently started this company, they said, we want it to be a way for people to give better. So it's called Give Butter. It's fabulous. You can use it for a lot of things. So we needed the software, which is practically no cost. They take a little bit if somebody pays through their site, but it's way less than credit card companies think. And we need a fearless person to manage it. Guess what? One of our members, who's fairly new, didn't know a lot of people, said, I think I can do this. Oh boy, could she. I mean, she just became the system owner of the Give Butter app. So we had forms for our donations. We had to get items to auction, and for that we need a volunteer army. So with the forms we had, people that are our members said, oh, well, I can go to my hairdresser. Well, I can go to that kid's place called Chuckles where they have video games and basketball and pizza and things. Or I could go here. And people started taking the forms, going and doing their daily routines, and coming back and saying, guess what? The trophy store downtown gave us this for the silent auction. So you need a little bit of an army, but with an army, each person just has to do 1 or 2 things. They don't have to do 20 things on their own. And then very important, we did write out personal handwritten thank you cards for the people that bid. When they picked up their winning item, they got that bundle with the thank you. And then for our business donors, we gave them certificates, actually mailed them certificates that they could display because we were so happy that they gave something. And almost all of them gave the next year because we've now done it twice. So the wine seminar, the thought about doing something with wine had come up over and over again. And just the thought of bringing people into the library because we didn't want to pay for another venue, bringing them into the library and having a bunch of vendors set up and say, go ahead and drink. I couldn't get over it. Nobody could get over that. But then, in our library one day, is this guy, and his name is Chris Mouch. And he writes a wine column for our local newspaper every month. So we got him local wine expert. He used to work for a wine distributor. He's retired and he does a wine club in his house once a month for his friends. And so we approached him and said, we're going to do something called a tasting, but maybe we could do it like a learning experience. Could you talk about different wines? And the idea just clicked with him and said he'd never done it before. Well, neither have we. So he was on board with that, and he's well known because people, the newspaper, we have a small town, small newspaper, but his article is more than a half a page every month. So his picture is in it. He's well known. So we wanted to bring in both members to celebrate, but also non-members for a little bit more marketing, bring some new people in. So we did give members the first crack at the tickets, which were all of $20. Next time I would charge more if there is a next time. Right now, no, but we might in the future. But we ended up with half and half. So you need supplies. You need a lot of supplies. This is where the money went. 50 people, $20. I had a budget of $1,000. Oh my gosh. Because, you want them to take the glass home. You want them to take the little brochure home. We had flowers. You want them to take the flowers home. And all I did is put a purple carnation in a wine bottle that was empty of wine. My husband and I took it upon ourselves to drink 25 bottles of wine in the first part of the year so that we'd have them available as needed. The wine we have either donated or we did purchase some. So here's a tip if you try this. Grocery stores sell wine. We thought, we'll just go and ask for a donation. The wine and liquor stores in our community donated readily. The grocery stores, it's almost impossible for them to get permission to sell. So I finally struck a deal. I will buy food and supplies from you of this amount, and then if you give me that, I will buy this much wine from you. If that worked. They could give me all the food in the world, but they couldn't give me any liquor. So they tried to go up their chain of command. It didn't work. So this is Chris with a studio specs. He has a little vest that has wine bottles on it and wine glasses. This is one of our volunteers. You can see we had tables. Okay, one thing about the wine tasting I want to tell you. You never know what's going to come with something. So, we're a small community, not necessarily a wealthy community. We had 50 seats sold. And the day of the event, 2 couples called. Both couples had tested positive for COVID in 2024. And we thought we were done with that. We weren't. So one couple said, we'd like a refund. Sure, okay, we write a check. The second couple said, it's just a donation. Keep the money. We don't want it back. The couple that ended up wanting a refund, several weeks later, I get in the mail a membership form. And now our membership starts at $10 a year for an individual, $15 whole for a couple. They sent in a check in for $1,000 for membership. So I kind of that as a win. Like you said, you kind of never know. Yeah. So other things we did, you saw a picture later, and I got it again. You don't know who knows who. I don't know. An idea came up, one of the many abounding ideas. We should get somebody to declare Friends of the Library Day or month. And then somebody says, I know the administrative assistant in the county mayor's office. I'll just call her. And a week later, we had a signing ceremony where he declared August Friends of the Library Month. So ask around. Somebody will know somebody. Seeing articles in the paper. We just did a little bit of paper publicity for the wine tasting so that non-members would know what to do. And a radio station actually called us New Talk Radio 94.7 out of Cookville, and said, I want to interview you right as you're doing these events. And what he said to the reporter was really interesting. The thing that interested him is that we were celebrating a 40th anniversary. He said, there just aren't that many not-for-profits that last 40 years. You've got something special going on in your organization. So, our bookstore sales, I've averaged some number over the years, less than 1,000 a month. Last month we did 1,500. For us, that's huge. For us, that's huge. It's a huge increase, and it consistently in 2025 been over 1,000 each and every month. Our membership did increase. Some of it I can attribute to our events and all the buzz around it. Some, you don't know. But definitely in our business community, the challenge for us now is a lot of businesses gave silent auction prizes now 2 years in a row. Are they all business members or friends? They're not. We need to figure out a way to convert them into memberships. Something for 2026. So yes, this is our county mayor with our library director, some of our board. And the reason I'm not smiling very well there is 2 weeks before I broke my back. I actually fell at the library in the parking lot and had a compression fracture. So my husband is literally waiting outside the office with my walker, which thank goodness I don't need anymore. So, on my advice, other than call Kathy immediately when you want to do something new, and certainly call me if you want to do anything we've figured out how to do. Start small. That was one of the key pieces of advice we got from those initial conference calls. Don't do a silent auction with 100 things. 20 or 30 is enough. It'll take you that to figure out what's the right minimum bid, what's the right maximum bid. You got stuff to store, where you're going to store it. You got to take pictures of it. Oh, pictures to go on the website. Yes, somebody stepped forward and said, oh, I used to be a photographer, professional one. I can take those pictures. We would have never been able to do that with our little iPhones. Good pictures. Ask for help. You never know where it's going to come from. Somebody did our logo. Somebody, your group provided advice. Somebody else did figure out the mayor's office. People wanted to come and pour and be servers for the wine seminar. Okay, servers got to taste for free. But rely on your previous experiences. So the lady that took the Give Butter app and really owned it, she's got a background in IT. I didn't know that, but she knew that. I have a background in project management. That's why I can push some of the stuff but lead to something else. That stuff works. Trust that your members will have the needed skills to step up. We've all got wonderful members, but 20% of us do 80% of the work. You'll get a few more people involved, and a lot of the people that were involved in our 40th anniversary are still more highly involved than they were before because they did something fun, new, interesting, and there was a lot of buzz around it. And then last thing, all of us are here to have fun. We all have wonderful, serious missions in our Friends of the Library work. But this has to be fun. It has to be fun for the people that leave the event and go, it's fun. And they'll come back for another thing.